What up? Good evening and happy Vlogmas day 14. And today, tonight, right now, we are going to discuss periods. And let's just get going. I got my period when I was 12 years old. So at the time, my parents have been already separated, and I'm not gonna go through the whole thing, so let's just say I was living with my dad at the time. Yes, I was seeing my mom, but I was like living with him. Like I had a room at his home, like it was our home. My two brothers were also with him, and my sister was already old enough that she was on her own and doing her own thing. Now, you know, I remember, but I don't remember certain pieces, so you're gonna have to just kind of work with me here. I didn't have really any, I had females in my life. Like my mom was in my life, my sister was in my life, you know, I had friends and everything like that, and then they had sisters. But from what I remember, my sister wasn't around at that time, and anyway, I was at school, and from what I remember, I basically went to the bathroom either because I felt like something was wrong, or I was in pain, like stomach ache, cramps, or I just had to go to the bathroom. But nonetheless, I ran out of the bathroom to my two best friends. Actually, I had three best friends. I'm not sure which two were there. I really feel like it was Kim and Edwidge, or Eddie, but maybe LaShonda was there. I'm not exactly sure at the time. And I'm like, I'm bleeding. They're like, where? And I'm like, I'm bleeding down there. And you know, you're in like 7th grade, and I'm freaking out, and they go, well, go check and see, because maybe it's your period. And I don't remember if my friends got their period yet, or if some of them did and some didn't at the time. So I went back in, and I go, it's just a little splotchy. Maybe I cut myself or cleaned myself too hard or something like that. And that was really just it. So we went on with the day until I had period stains all over my pants, and there was nothing I could do but show it. So I'm almost positive I did something like I had a shirt or a jacket or sweater, and I wrapped it around my waist, and then we all went home, and I was walking home, and I had to wait throughout the whole day because when I left school, I was in a school district that was way far from where I was living at the time. And so I went to my aunt's house every day after school, and then from there went home at some point. Like my dad picked me up, and I don't think I did anything about it until I got home. I'm like, Dad, I got my period, I need you to go pick me up some stuff. My dad is clueless, like clueless. So he comes home with tampons, and I'm like heart's racing, and I'm freaking out because I need him to go get some stuff. I can't go because I'm supposedly like bleeding everywhere. And he's like, well, what do you want me to do? I'm like, I need you to go get pads. I don't use tampons, that's for women. So he sends my brother to go, and I guess in the end they got me some pads. And that's all I really remember about it. And that's really my period story. Now, what's crazy is, so I had my really bad periods like pretty much from that very day till the day that I got a hysterectomy. And you guys know that story. I had pre-cancer, which if it waited just a few months later to a couple months later, I would have had full-blown cancer, then I would have went through like chemo, the whole thing. Now, yes, there's a difference between the two, and there is, which is why I said pre, but most people don't really bring it up because it's pointless, but most people don't have it as advanced as I did. But if you want to know about that, go to the IQ thingy up there and press on that, and you can kind of hear some more details about it. But now I stayed with pads all the way into my 20s. The idea of putting anything inside me freaked me out. I was like, I'm not doing nothing. My best friend Sarah, now at the time, I've already lived in Minnesota 2 years, actually about a year later, I moved to Minnesota when I was like a year after I had got my first period. Now I meet Sarah, or Vidmar, it's the same person, around age 16 or so, and she's already using tampons, and I'm not, and I'm like, I just can't, you know. And she hated it because the older we got, you know, we were partying, drinking, having fun. We always went to the pool, and she's like, all right, let's go to the pool. I'm like, well, you know, I can't go in. Like, I'm on my period. And she goes, well, if you use a tampon, you can go in the water. I'm like, I can't. So she tried so many times to convince me. She's like, here is a tampon. Like, go try it. And I did a few times, and I was like, no. And I mean, when I tried, I wouldn't even try. Like, I literally just grabbed it and went in the room and sat there. Like, I panicked. I didn't take off my pants, my underwear. I didn't, like, take the wrapping off, nothing. I was terrified. And then there was a point where I started to take off the wrapper, and I would just sit there at the hole, and I was like, I can't insert it. And I think there was a point where I started to slowly try to, you know, insert it, and it felt weird to me. It was painful, so many different things, and I was like putting myself into a panic attack. And then there was, I think now I'm probably around age 21, 22, where I really wanted to jump in the pool. And she goes, go into like the public bathroom that's at the pool instead of going to my apartment and doing it with one of her tampons. So I put it in, and I got it in, and I don't know what changed at the time, but I ran out of that bathroom so quickly outside, and I barely made it down the stairs to where you go to the pool, and I'm like, Venmar, I put a tampon. Venmar, I put a tampon. And I mean, I was so loud, and because it was like a dome like set up at the pool, it all echoed, and there was more people at the pool. And she was like, you know, calm down. I'm so ecstatic. Like, right now my face hurts because it's just so embarrassing, but such a big step in my life, being such an older person, that I was so behind the time, because I'm like, I don't even like men. Like, I don't want nothing in there. So and then doing it to myself was even more weird to me. So oh, that's right, and she did try. She was like, let me do it for you. And we were that close. Let's not get into that. But she was like, all right. So she would like go and try to put it in. I'm like, no. And I think she did actually try it, and she did, but it was inserted wrong, because it's different when someone else is doing it than you doing it to yourself. And I was like, no, this doesn't feel right. Anyway, so now I got it in, and I went from pads to tampons, and I never went back to pads. I did have to use like the panty liners because I bled a lot. And I hated using like the super tampons because, well, I didn't like anything in there. And these big things, I just kept using the small and having to like change it out like every hour. And then, so you have my period story, my adult story into tampons. So my third part is going to be my horror story. I think it's my horror story. Now I'm like much older. I'm probably my mid-20s, or mid to late 20s or so. I really don't know. And I was here in this house, living here before, so it was way before Florida. And I wake up, I might be wrong, it might be like before I went to sleep or something. I think it was when I woke up. I'm in panic because I'm like, I'm on my period, and I know I put a tampon in. Like, I wouldn't have forgot to not put a tampon in, you know, like, where the hell did it go? Well, I call my mom, like, Mom, I think the tampon is inside me. She goes, what do you mean? I'm like, I think I lost it. Like, it's not down there. There's no string. And she goes, Sarah, you better go fishing for it. Now, she actually said that, like, you need to go fishing for it. And I'm like, I'm not going in there. And I'm like, Mom, you know how long it took me to get a tampon in? You want me to go and do all this in there? And I'm in the bathroom, like this, like, trying. And I'm on, like, day 2. So I'm a TMI, but I'm a bloody mess. So, like, it's just a lot of stuff going on down there. And I'm crying, and I'm on the phone with my mom. She's living wherever she's living, I think Vegas at the time. So then I called I don't think I called 911. I think I called, like, I asked for the nurse at the emergency room close by here, closest to me. And they're like, well, you need to get it out, or you need to come here, because the number one cause, or the number one thing that you get when you have a tampon stuck in you is you can go into shock. And she goes, read all about it. She goes, but you have no time to waste. You don't know how long it's been there. It was in the morning because I woke up and it was gone. So I was sleeping and it disappeared. So I'm like, now I'm crying more. And she's like, you're going to go into shock. You can die. You need to come here and let us do it, or you need to go in there and search for her. And I'm still panicking because when I'm searching for it, I'm really not. I'm freaking out. So now I'm in there and I'm like, Sarah, grow the fuck up, you know? And eventually I search and I feel a little something. And I go, wait. And there goes the little string, and I pulled it out. And I'm calling my mom. She goes, Sarah, what the hell's going on? I'm like, I found it. And she goes, it was a disaster. So that was my horror story, and it never happened again. But then later on, when I was like, oh, you know what? That must have been in my early 20s, not my mid-20s or my late 20s. Because I was 24 when I had my hysterectomy, which would be like close to my mid-20s. So it was age 24 or before. So probably like 20, and I didn't start tampons until I was 21. So between 21, 22, and 24. So maybe when I was 23 years old, I lost a tampon inside me. And that is my horror story. So you got my period story, my tampon story, and how I finally grew into them at a very, very, I guess, old age at the time. I mean, old meaning like I should have been using them much earlier than that. And then my horror story. So I guess I hope you guys all enjoyed, but thankfully I don't use tampons as I don't get periods because I had a hysterectomy when I was 24. Anyway, if you guys have any comments, post below. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe, please. Sorry, I'm still thinking about losing the tampon because that thing was just missing for I don't know how many hours, plus the sleeping was a disaster. Anyway, also ring that bell to get some notifications, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.